I'm here with Vitas Bokshtis, CEO of Eskimi in Nigeria. Thank you for taking the time to speak with Apps Africa.
My pleasure.
If we can just start with the social media in Nigeria and the growth over the last few years from your perspective.
Well, I think everything started somewhere in 2011, 2010, where the mobile internet started growing in terms of the market, and the users are starting to get the first services. And we moved into the market in 2010. Early 2010, we worked on the product, and end of 2010, we are starting to see the real growth. And there were like 80% of the users actually who have used Eskimi as their first site or as their first chat service. That was like a very start of the whole market. I mean, the market was just evolving from that end. And now we see that users on internet, the numbers are of course very different communicated by the regulators and the media. But what we see and what we think is that online users per month is about 40 million. And from what we see in terms of numbers, about 10 to 15 million of those are active social media users. And when I say active, I mean those are the people who are really spend time online instead of just reading a news site, spending maybe 20 minutes per day. These are the guys who are spending like 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours per day on their mobiles while commuting or just online at work and so on. So this has been the biggest growth, and I think all the research has shown that social media, chat, communication actually takes up the biggest part of the internet time spent of the user.
And what kind of mobile trends and stats have you seen over the course of Eskimi's launch?
So I think that the current misconception in the market is that everybody is communicating numbers that internet users of like 80 million when the total SIM market is maybe 120, 130 million. In reality, I think it's a much different figure. What we see from our Eskimi, and then we launched our DSP platform where we reach the users outside Eskimi, we see that the real users who are actually browsing are close to maybe 35 million per month. And what happens is that in Nigeria there are a lot of accidental, non-educated usage. So the same user who joins or tries or browses a couple of sites this week, he will not become next week or next month, and you will not see him for maybe next 3 months. So that shows that there's a lot of still education needed, especially on the mobile data side. So it's all improving, and it's all growing, but the numbers are not that big as everybody's communicating. But it's still, I mean, a very lucrative market.
Obviously, the social media landscape around the world is quite crowded. Cannot mention Facebook. How are you competing with Facebook?
Well, so we knew from the start that nobody can ever win a war with Facebook. So I mean, if you go head to head, you just die trying. So I think from the start we're building a product which would keep away from the space of real social graph and meeting new people. And then 2 years ago we saw a rise of chat messengers, and then again we had to revise our strategy, because being just a chat messenger as an app, it's very hard to sustain a business when there's WhatsApp, WeChat, and the likes of where very well funded and have good backing. So from this end, we're always developing a product which is more different. So today we have a mobile social network to meet new people, and more of a destination site where people come. They of course chat, so half of the time is spent in chat, but there's a new feature called fan clubs, and we have in Nigeria more than 150,000 of these fan clubs created by users. So it's like a microblog or a community, and we have really big fan clubs. Like a music fan club would have like something like 1 million fans in Eskimi, and a football fan club would have maybe 900,000 fans. A female fan club called Lady Niger would have 250,000 fans. So there are certain communities that keep people together, and if you as a user create your community, you invite your friends, and everybody starts talking about football, I mean, you would come back again and again to check what's happening, what are your friends talking about, and so we try to shift the product in a different direction, and we added content. So we have Eskimi music, Eskimi jobs for a very localized content category. So I think that helped us to even not even sustain the business, but also grow it.
It's interesting on the fan clubs. What level of engagement do you see with these fan clubs in terms of on a daily or weekly basis?
So I mean, so these are the fan clubs that I mentioned, that 150,000. So these are the active ones, because if the user does not post anything or nobody logs into the fan club, it's automatically deactivated. So the engagement is there, and I mean, this is the fan clubs actually evolved as we just created a functionality for businesses to build landing pages on Eskimi, because like early stages, a business would send us the link and it was not working for mobile, so we just created a fan club so that you could create your own landing page, and we thought, okay, let's try to open it for the end users, and they just picked up the service, and we push a lot. So it's an actively used. It's not as big as chat. I think it will not become one, but I think like 25% of the time spent is now spent in the fan clubs every day, and we have about 1 hour, 10 minutes per user per day time spent on Eskimi now, which has increased from 52 minutes since last year. So that's the metric which we're most proud of in terms of the engagement of our users.
Okay, a lot today has been spoken about affordability of the internet in Africa and Nigeria. How do you conquer that problem? Obviously, you need people to be using data to consume your service.
Well, I think it's just a normal evolution. I mean, people get educated, people start using data, and we don't really try to solve this kind of problem. And I think we had discussed before. I mean, somebody asked, why don't Eskimi join internet.org? I said, no, let the big guys solve that problem. I mean, we have our own priorities. So I think I mean, we're trying to build a product which is easy to access for the users. I mean, we try to squeeze the data, we try to do everything that's possible, so we're not, I mean, we have a partnership with MTN, which is an Eskimi bundle, which allows us, our users to save a lot on data. So they buy a weekly package for 25 naira or a monthly package for 60 naira, and that's I mean, then you are safe that you will not spend enormous amounts of money on data. So we have certain partnerships in Nigeria, and also we're building it across Africa with other telcos. So maybe this is our input to this problem.
And you've mentioned some of the services you offer. How do you help marketers or companies who want to enter Nigeria in targeting those customers?
Well, so we have all sorts of advertisement tools. We split them in two parts, so that the strategy for advertisers is actually depending on what you want to reach. So the first strategy is engagement, mostly focused on the FMCG brands, companies who want to engage with the customers, make them spend time in their branded fan clubs or games inside Eskimi. So we have a lot of tools on that. And another one would be a performance strategy direction, where we're working with banks and mobile money customers, where they acquire customers, where they collect leads, collect data, and where the numbers matter. So I mean, we do not try to sell the CPMs for them which they don't understand or they don't want to understand. So they buy acquired user or confirmed registration or something like that.
So I know Facebook are looking at mobile payments. What's the future for Eskimi? Do you see anything like that coming in line for Nigeria?
Yeah, so we're working with telcos around that. We're working with a lot of payment companies here in Nigeria and across Africa. So we have an internal currency called Eskimi coins. So people can buy Eskimi coins from their airtime. So definitely this is something that we do, and we see. I mean, we plan some new projects in this area, but it's a bit too early to discuss it now.
Sure. And finally, for companies outside of Africa who are looking to enter maybe the Nigerian or different African markets, do you have any top tips you could give these companies on what to expect and how to get going and being?
I think the first thing is that you have to be here on the ground. It's you only start to understand this market when you're here. There are a lot of companies who just look to the numbers and say, "Wow, this is an amazing market. Let's try it." And from the IT perspective, a lot of projects would just say, "Okay, let's invest in marketing and see how it goes." But we did that, and I think the first year or the first 1.5 years we didn't come here. That was one of the biggest mistakes actually. That we just understood the market when we started traveling, starting having people on the ground, and this is one of the most important ones. And the other one, which is more like it's not a kind of. It's important, but it's not like a big thing. It's like you have to just love the market. I mean, and there are a lot of people who come here and said, "Oh no, oh my God, Lagos and all the traffic and the hustle here." So you have to, you have to enjoy that, these unexplored territories, and so then you can succeed, I guess.